Hey guys, Kris here. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a first look of the Kia EV6 I have parked right behind me on the exterior and on the interior. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to drive this car. I would love to give you guys, the first driving impressions, but this is a pre-production prototype that I have not been approved to drive. But there will be a reaction video to me on the Autobahn in the passenger seat of this car on Kyle from Spec Reviews channel. Link in the description box down below if you want to see my reaction at Autobahn speeds with the EV6. So as I said, this is a pre-production prototype, so there may be differences and details to the actual final production version here and there. I think the exterior will basically be identical, but on the inside there may be, materials that's going to be different in the actual production version. So this car, the EV6, sits on the brand new Hyundai Kia EV platform, the 800-volt architecture platform that everybody is excited about, and it's so cool. This is actually the car I'm checking out before the Ioniq 5. I haven't tested the Ioniq 5 yet, even though you guys have been asking for it for a while. I haven't been able to get a hold of one. Hopefully next week I will get a press car, so I'm going to do all of this testing. That's why it's cool, checking this car out before I actually check out the Ioniq 5. But as you can see on the outside, it looks very different to the Ioniq 5, though this is very closely related. It actually has a shorter wheelbase by about, I think it's like 10 millimeters, or is it 100 millimeters? It's shorter at least. And also, it does look very, very different, where the Hyundai Ioniq 5 looks a little bit more like a retro hatchback that has been blown up to SUV size, because actually that car looks much smaller in photos than it does in real life, because in real life it's actually a little bit bigger than this. This looks much more sporty with those cool dynamic headlights and also this pointy nose. And look at those cool DRLs, guys. This looks very, very cool. It also has these cool black wheels. These are two 55/40/20s with a fat sidewall. And then let's check out the rear. It's also two 55/45/20s. So you have the same size wheels front and back. And this has a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is the net capacity. So that 0.4 is a little bit more than the net capacity. Possibly that is the actual buffer below zero. But we haven't had that confirmed by Kia yet. But net seems to be around 77 kilowatt hours and not 77.4. So this has dual electric motors, this being the four-wheel drive version, does 0 to 100 in about 5.2 seconds and has 325 horsepower. And as I said, I've sat passenger on this. It feels actually quite quick, and yeah, it does get up to top speed quite quickly. Again, if you want to check that video out, that will be on Kyle's channel from Spec Reviews. And as you guys can see here, it does look much more sporty, in my opinion at least, than the Ioniq 5, where you have, this roofline that, slopes back, and also have that fast back rear design. And also, maybe the most controversial part of the exterior is the rear design. In person, it looks much better than it does in photos. This is one of those cars that in real life looks much better than it does in photos. From the back with the new Kia logo and also the EV6 logo there, this is the GT line. There will also be a GT version later on with even more horsepower. And then on the rear side here, you have the charge port, which is electric. So you just push here and it will open. So you have the CCS port here. You have this flap here to, let's see. Yeah, it removes like that. And then you can also close the port with that button. And what is nice here is that I'm going to show you, living in cold climates, people are always worried about these electric charging ports. In Norway, for example, this winter, when we had a lot of E-Tron owners taking delivery of their car, and then, cold winters in the mountains with minus 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, people were having problems opening their charging port, with water and ice and snow just, freezing up the thing. But if we open up the trunk here, I'll show you guys. You can actually probably in the winter just pull this open like that. So that is very, very nice, and actually closes. That's cool. So you can actually force it. You have somewhere to leverage it to pull it open. You don't have that in the E-Tron, the big Audi E-Tron. And the trunk here, guys, I don't have the specs. If I'm going to find them, I'll probably put them up on camera. You have no underfloor storage, so the rear electric motor sits underneath there. The trunk is a decent size. It's a bit disappointing. I was hoping something a little bit bigger. Maybe it's like 450 to 500 liters. I don't think it is any bigger than that. And because you have that, hatchback or fastback rear, it does cut into rear luggage space, and you also don't have any rear underfloor storage. This car also has a tiny front because it is four-wheel drive. So I'm not going to show you that because there's barely any room for a cable. But look at these rear lights. I mean, they do look cool. This is a cool thing you guys have to see in the real world. And also you can see that the rear light doubles up as a spoiler, which is nice, you know, at high speed to have that stability. You can see also the door handles look like this, where you just pull them out. And again, this is a pre-production model. So let's just show you guys a little bit more on the exterior. And it is, you know, to have the DRLs on, we have to put it into the ignition on, and I have the key in my pocket. That's why it's beeping at us. I do like the new Kia logo. It looks very, very cool, and you know, this is a modern and sleek design. I do like the look of this. Okay guys, let's take a look on the interior of the EV6. So this is the key, typical to a lot of Kias. You have, you know, lock, unlock, and then you have the automatic trunk button here. And you can also, with this car, you can also do automatic parking. I haven't tried that out, probably not going to do that now. Hopefully when I have a test vehicle later on in the year, we will do all of the testing. But it is a nice key. I mean, this is not a premium vehicle. It having metal here at all is a really nice touch. But also, of course, this has probably has keyless go, keyless entry. Am I not able to lock the car because the ignition is not? Probably, okay. But it does have keyless go, keyless entry, so you can just, you know, pull the door handle here and the car will open. So this is where we may find a few differences from the actual production version. So starting off with the front door, we have soft touch plastics up top. You have this faux leather inlay here and also on the armrest, and then you have this piano black finish here. Hopefully that won't make it to production because already you can see here, guys, it's full of finger marks. This though, I don't mind. This is just a nice detail. It's not at a touch point, though this does look a bit and feel a bit cheap. You have two memory settings for the seats here, and you do have power seats, and you can also, yeah, adjust all of the settings here. It also has lumbar support. This has a Meridian sound system. I've not been able to listen to it, but this is nice, guys. So you have hard touch plastics below this point, which is, you know, to be expected at this price point. I'm not complaining at all. This door here is nicer than a lot of cars or EVs at this price point. Looking at you, Volkswagen ID4. But this has carpet inlay inside the pocket, door pockets. That is very, very nice. And this being the GT line, you have the GT logo there on the carpets. And then you have these seats, which are in Alcantara. And then you have this, it almost looks like a piping, but it's just a patch of leather here on the sides. And these seats are very comfortable. You have these cool headrest designs where it actually, you know, doubles up as a head support. So that is very, very nice. And also you have this two-spoke steering wheel, which a lot of people don't like. I personally find it cool. I think it looks very cool with the new Kia logo. And then you have these dual screen setup here. Again, I don't have the stats and sizes of the screens, but they look very large. They look to be like dual 12 inches. I may be wrong, but I don't think they're, you know, far off that size. And you also have new switchgear here for this Kia. I haven't seen this in any other Kia EVs. Again, Kia doesn't do the best switchgear. Usually, you know, material quality in their cabins are nice, but their switchgear feels, you know, on par with something like a Mustang Mach-E. Not the best, probably at the lower end of the, you know, at the market, but you do get a lot of car for your money, you know, in other regards. So let's take a step inside and let's put the seat back. So the first thing you notice is this center console, which just looks completely different to everything else you have seen, with large storage beneath there. And then you have, let's see, you have a 12-volt port here, and then you have a USB-C port there, and then you have another USB-C port there, and then you have USB-C port there, and then you have USB-C port here on this seat back. So you have one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. That is really, really cool. You have the ignition here, and then you have the selector here, which is, you know, similar to something you would find in a Kia e-Soul, where you would just, you know, turn that. But I know just the execution here is very, very cool. Cup holders. Also, you have a wireless charging pad here. This is plastic. This looks nice. Hopefully in production that will be metal. I don't think they're gonna, you know, do it in metal. That would probably be too expensive also with this LED strip here. But it does look nice. I mean, this interior is not a premium interior, but at this price point, it's decent. It is decent. You have this cool graphic here on top of the dashboard. And what I do like is this screen here. This looks really, really cool. It's crisp, it's clear. It also has a matte finishing on the display, so it doesn't, you know, give you any reflections. And then you have here, you have a physical knob for your climate. I'm looking at you, Volkswagen ID cars. It's also backlit. This is the way to do it. This is a way to do it. So this is really cool. I'm not going to dive too deep into the infotainment system because just to be honest, guys, I haven't had a look at it. We are down here in Germany. I was going to go to the IAA and film some cars there, but I mean, it's so busy with all the people, not able to film anything, and I wasn't able to get any alone time before or after closing hours. So that's why we're doing this car. Thanks to Kyle at Spec Reviews for lending us this car just to film it here. He's actually right over here because I'm not allowed to drive it, so he's over there on his phone just letting us film this video. But okay, let's take a look at how do you go to the, here is the home button. So this is cool. This is different to other, like that. It's so cool. It's snappy also. I'm looking at you, Volkswagen ID cars. I mean, I'm gonna just, no pun intended, but Volkswagen have a product in this price range, which a lot of things are not done correctly. I'm just gonna point out what they have done correctly here, and that is physical volume knobs, physical buttons, and also a super snappy infotainment system here. Where do you have navigation? It just works. Look at this, guys. So where do we have the maps? So again, I'm not familiar with this, and to be fair, this should be easier just finding a map. Navigation, there, map. It says map right there, Chris. And then you also have the dual setup here, so you can customize what you want there and customize what you want there. It's an easy infotainment system. It's similar to what you find in other Kia products, but just updated for this EV6, and also the display here. These look beautiful, and I like the fact that the glass is matte, so you don't have a lot of reflections, and I do love this display down here. Otherwise, the seat is comfortable. The steering wheel is nice also. The two-spoke steering wheel does look cool. You have, your lane keep, your automatic cruise control on the right side. You have your different, modes on the left side there, and on the right side you have volume and, favorites button and stuff like that. Again, I haven't used this, so I'm not going to dive into anything here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rear seats. This does not have a sunroof. So that is the interior. Just a quick look here. You do have some storage underneath here also. That is very, very deep, so that is nice. Okay, and again, airy cabin. You have a lot of room here. Let's take a look at the rear, and also the door sound, guys. It sounds decent. Yeah, I mean, it feels par for the course. And then you have the rear seats. This seat is set all the way back now, so I can film for you guys. I'm just gonna move, these are Kyle's GoPros. But again, okay, so foot room is a bit limited. Maybe the seat is set very low, but that is limited. Leg room though, even with the seat set all the way back, it's quite decent. If you were above 6 feet, maybe your knees would be touching here, but I'm fine. You also have this, which doubles up as a coat hanger, which is really cool. A lot of people use these as company cars, are going to use these as company cars, and just hanging your coat or your jacket like that is a really cool design feature. And then again, you have the USB-C ports there, one on each side, so you can either access it from the front or from the rear. It's a cool addition. Though down here it looks a little bit Spartan. You don't have anything on the rear side of the center console, which you usually do have on cars, but you do have vents here on the B pillar. That is very nice. And then you have this Alcantara fin. I do like this. This is nice, but I don't think it's microfiber. It's not Alcantara. That's what cars are doing today with these vegan interiors. This though feels like a faux leather. So maybe this is like partially vegan, but again, don't quote me on there, guys. And then you have center armrest here with cup holders. So yeah, that is nice. And again, we don't have the sunroof. Probably that will be an option later on. And just a quick look, guys, at the front cabin from the rear seats. So there we go, guys. That was the first look of the exterior and the interior of the Kia EV6. Again, this is a pre-production prototype, so things may change for the production version that is hopefully out later this year. And again, I showed you guys everything on this car except for the front, but this being the four-wheel drive version, it's so small it's not even worth showing, guys. If you do go for the rear-wheel drive version only, it will be much larger, but that we'll have to see that when that car comes out. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.